Good morning. This week, we celebrate Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. But what does this mean? From one perspective, the Earth is a wonderful place to cultivate a calm spirit, to understand universal principles, and to exercise mindful actions. It offers clues about balance and the middle way, free from attachment. Every moment and everywhere is an opportunity to meditate, to explore our true nature, and to uncover and share unexpected graces. From another perspective, the Earth is a speck, the size of an atom in the timeless and placeless fabric of the universe. Yet this speck and all that it contains reflects and embodies the truth. At times, these truths emerge as quiet whispers that I might not understand and appreciate for years. At other times, their impact is direct and immediate. My name is Herr, and I'd like to share some reflections on Earth Day and two aspects of nature's graces. The following stories of transformation and interconnection continue to guide me towards a more balanced path. Each section begins with a brief passage from the doctrinal books of Won Buddhism. I'll begin with some memories of Earth Day. We could not live without heaven and earth. To practice by modeling oneself on heaven and earth is to show gratitude to heaven and earth. In the spring of 1970, I helped to organize the first Earth Day event at my high school. The entire school came out to celebrate and thank the Earth. We listened to speeches from students, teachers, and invited guests. By noon, we made Earth Day banners and picked up trash across the campus and along the adjoining railroad tracks. That afternoon, groups of students, teachers, and parents traveled to pre-designated areas to clean trash from streams, waterways, parks, and roadways all across the county. While that first Earth Day was not considered a national success by the media, we were transformed, united and empowered by a common and noble cause. And through the years, I've grown even more passionate about sustainability and balance with the earth. Transformation. Since all things in the universe are precisely the transformation bodies of the Dharmakaya Buddha, every place we find ourselves, there is a Buddha, and all our acts are the Dharma of Buddha offerings. Light among the redwoods. While living in married student housing at the University of California at Santa Cruz, I enjoyed the morning walks through the old redwood forest to the lab. I used this time to think about theories and that day's research plans. On one occasion, the leaves were particularly beautiful and alive. A little further along the path, I stopped to enjoy a forest clearing that took my breath away. This place, I thought to myself, is where I want to be for a long time, outdoors and in nature. I thought how wonderful and freeing it would be to build an open-air pavilion here and to study and appreciate nature within this peaceful setting among the redwoods and overlooking Monterey Bay. But then dark thoughts arose. At that moment, I imagined 2x4s, one by one, next to each other, attaching to one side of the pavilion for protection. And as these timbers sequentially filled all four sides of the pavilion, the view became more and more limited. Eventually, the pavilion was completely sealed from the outside world, and I sat caged, imprisoned in darkness, with no view of nature. I said, "No!" And letting go of that image, I returned to the calm and peaceful clearing. What did this mean? Well, that morning I had been thinking about the meaning of scientific ideas and dogmas. I'd been growing increasingly concerned about how attached some of my professors and I were to certain theories. While models may provide some sanctuary of perceived understanding, I now know that at best they represent only approximations of the real world. And more importantly, I realize that all human-constructed models are filters that can constrain our ability to see the truth in this place at the present time. My experience in the forest transformed my approach to scientific inquiry and turned it into a treasure hunt of unexpected discovery and neutral appreciation. Truth Whisperers. In June of 1968, after 8th grade, I traveled from Long Island to Fillmore, a little town in western New York, to help a family friend on their farm. And during that summer, I apprenticed on a dairy farm where I learned how to milk cows, clean the barn, fix fences, drive a dump truck, and calmly see and appreciate the land. The farmer reinforced in me a strong work ethic and hands-on problem-solving skills. On one occasion, I had just brought the last cow into the barn from the field for the morning milking. I remember the farmer frowning, for that cow was in labor and her calf presented in the breech position. When I asked about calling the vet, he said, calling the vet wasn't an option. They'd both be dead by the time the vet arrived. And without hesitating, he handed me a rope and instructed me to tie one end around the calf's feet, while he tied the other end to a winch that he attached to one of the posts in the barn. He said to me, "Now every time she contracts, we're going to pull to help her with the contractions." Well, you can imagine how my adrenaline was racing. After about 5 minutes, he yelled, "Catch!" And without thinking, I ran over and caught the calf in my arms before it hit the ground. They both survived, and that little calf bonded with me. I often think of that calf and that valuable lesson in hands-on problem-solving. I remained on the farm once the school year resumed. At the time, this school experience seemed relatively uneventful. I met some wonderful teachers and the students and deeply appreciated their friendship and hospitality, their wholesomeness, and their quiet graces for this teenage visitor from Long Island. Upon returning home, I observed several of my other teenage friends had changed. They now pursued more unhealthy paths and behaviors. Some classmates experimented with addictive and psychedelic drugs. And while we remained friends, I realized that I faced a choice, and ultimately I chose another path. What does this mean? The farm and high school experiences provided quiet awakenings that led to profound transformation in my life over many years. For me, each transformation is like a mini rebirth, a new beginning with new awareness and opportunities. Interconnection. Interconnectedness through a single vital force means that all living beings in this world form a single household and a single family. The Chickadee Connection. In the spring of 1963, while walking home from school through the woods, I came across a small tree with a young chickadee perched on one of its lower branches. The bird stayed in place as I approached the tree, and when I was about 2 feet away, I naively extended my hand, and it jumped onto my finger. As I studied its beak and feathers, I noticed that it was calm and looked at me in a curious and neutral way. and then our eyes locked. And all of a sudden, I became aware that this other life was also studying me. What does this mean? We are all interconnected. Nature is not just about the structure and shape of things, but more importantly, it's about our relationships with those things. And finally, the forest connection. We now know that a forest is a community of trees. And as I walk through the woods near our home, I appreciate the trees' linkage with each other through their fungal root connections and their interdependence upon each other and the local microbes. In fact, the elder trees in a forest share resources and establish safe environments for the different species of trees of all ages. The elder trees nurture sick trees by sharing nutrients. They also enable younger trees to find their own resilient growth paths over tens or hundreds of years. And through this interconnected network, dying trees can give back their resources to help strengthen the community. What does this mean? Truly vibrant communities thrive on a network of interdependent and diverse relationships. For me, nature is neutral and seeks an interdependent balance without attachments. In closing, let us begin each day with peaceful gratitude. May we uncover and nurture unexpected truths in each other. May we mindfully share small graces and thanks for nature's gifts. For each moment is the beginning and ending of a new Earth Day. Thank you.